Hey everyone, and welcome. In a world that feels like it's just constantly buzzing with noise and worry, does it ever feel like finding just one single moment of real, genuine peace is, well, almost impossible? Today, we're going to explore a powerful blueprint for finding that calm. It's a prayer for peace and protection. And we're not just going to read it, we're going to break it down, piece by piece, to really understand the powerful framework it offers.
But hey, before we get started, let's just get real for a second. What's that one worry for you? You know the one I'm talking about? The one that just seems to play on a loop in the back of your mind, no matter what you do. We've all got one. And it's that specific weight that makes this whole search for peace so personal and so important.
And that's really our goal here today. We're not just looking at the words of a prayer, we are taking apart its entire structure. We're looking at the blueprint it lays out for this journey, a path that's designed to lead you from the chaos of worry to a really deep sense of security and strength.
Okay, so let's jump in. Here's the game plan for our journey today. First, we're going to look the problem right in the face with the weight of worry. Then, we're going to get practical with building a hedge of protection. After that, we'll dive deep into the internal struggle from fear to faith, hit that crucial turning point in the act of surrender, and finally arrive at our destination, a peace beyond understanding. Let's get started.
So first up, the weight of worry. Because, before you can find any kind of solution, you've got to be able to name the problem. And what's amazing is that this prayer doesn't start with a command. It starts with compassion, acknowledging the very real, very heavy things we're all carrying around. It kind of gives us permission to just be honest about what's really going on inside.
And this is where you can really feel the empathy. It doesn't start by pointing fingers. It starts by saying, I see you. It puts a name to these burdens, that knot of fear you feel in your stomach, that constant low-level hum of anxiety, a troubled heart that just won't settle down. It calls out the doubt, the worry about what's coming next, and that deep-down feeling of just being completely worn out. All the things that quietly steal our peace.
And boom, right after naming the problem, it presents this incredible solution. This isn't just about, thinking positive. It's framed as a direct exchange. The idea is that the act of prayer itself invites a peace that is so powerful, it literally acts like a guard for your heart and your mind. It's a promise of protection right at your very core.
Okay, so how do we actually do that? How do we go from a promise to something we can actively put into practice? Well, that brings us right to our next section. This is where we shift from just talking about the problem to actually building the solution.
So the prayer introduces this amazing concept, a hedge of protection. What on earth is that, right? Well, think of it like this. It's the act of consciously, intentionally asking for a spiritual barrier of safety to be built around you. This is the first active thing you do. It's the moment you stop just worrying and start proactively asking for security. And right here, you see this huge shift in focus. The prayer guides you to look beyond your own strength, beyond what you can see and control. It points your focus upward, reframing a higher power as something totally solid and unshakable, a rock you can stand on, a shelter you can run to when things get crazy. It's all about anchoring your safety in something much bigger than yourself. And what's so cool is how specific this gets. It's not just some vague general request for safety. The prayer walks you through it. First, you build that hedge around yourself. Then, you push it outwards, creating this circle of protection that specifically and intentionally includes your children and your spouse. It's about making sure all your most important bases are covered. All right, so we've built the outer defense. Now we have to go internal, right into the heart of the struggle. Because building that hedge is one thing, but what about that battle that's raging inside our own heads? This next part dives right into that. I just love the language here. The goal isn't to just cope with fear or, manage it. The prayer is aiming for something way more powerful, for fear to literally melt away, like ice in the sun. The idea is to have it completely replaced by faith. It's not about them living side by side. It's a total transformation, where faith takes over the space that fear used to own.
And this, right here, just nails it. It shows the two competing voices that are always fighting for our attention. On one side, you've got that negative, nagging voice, the one whispering lies like, you're never going to get through this, or it's all going to go wrong. But this prayer encourages you to tune into a totally different frequency, a voice of hope that says, just trust me, and watch it work out for your good. It's a conscious choice, right? Which voice are you going to turn up?
So how do you make that voice of faith stronger? The prayer gives you this incredibly powerful thing to visualize, the idea that you are never, ever alone. It introduces this concept that at every single moment, whether you feel it or not, you are completely surrounded and guarded. Thinking about this is meant to be a tool to build your confidence and basically starve that fear.
And that brings us to what is really the emotional core of this entire thing. We've named the worry, we've built a hedge, we've confronted our fear, and now comes the hardest but maybe the most freeing part of all, the act of surrender.
The prayer gives us a clear 3-step guide for this. First, you don't push your worry away. You capture it. You bring it right to the front of your mind and you look it in the eye. Second, and this is so important, you confess that you can't fix it on your own. You admit your own limits. And third, you make a conscious, deliberate choice to hand it over.
Let's just sit with this for a second, because it goes against everything our culture screams at us. We're told to be strong, to hustle, to solve our own problems. But this prayer presents this radical idea that real strength is actually found in the humility of saying, I can't fix this. It's that moment of vulnerability that opens the door for a greater power to come in. It's the moment you finally stop trying to carry everything by yourself.
And this brings us to a really powerful chance for us to reflect. This prayer isn't just about theory, it's an invitation to do something. So I want to ask you, what's that one thing you're holding on to with just a white-knuckled grip? That one worry you keep trying to solve all on your own? Take a moment, and if you feel up for it, I would love for you to share what you could surrender in the comments below. Let's create a space where we can all let go together.
And after that confession, this is it. This is the climax. This simple but incredibly profound declaration. It's the action of actually letting go, of placing that burden you were just thinking about into other hands. This is the turning point. It's where you release control and trust takes its place.
So, we've walked through this whole journey, acknowledging the worry, building protection, choosing faith, and actively surrendering. Which brings us to the big question. So what? What's the result of all this? Our final section looks at the ultimate outcome. This timeline just lays out the promised transformation so perfectly. You can literally start your day feeling buried under worries and doubts, but by going through this intentional process, building protection and surrendering control, the outcome is a total reset. And the promise isn't for someday in the future, it's for right now. The idea is you can get a fresh start and feel brand new today.
And this is the final, empowering takeaway. Your past doesn't have to define your present. The way you feel right now doesn't have to be the way you feel 5 minutes from now. The prayer offers this incredible possibility of immediate change. It suggests that by walking through these steps, you can genuinely leave this experience different, lighter, and more at peace than when you started.
And so we're left with this final thought to chew on. So often, we think peace means a life with no problems, no storms, no challenges. But what if that's not what peace is at all? What if real peace, the kind that this prayer is talking about, isn't the absence of problems, but the overwhelming presence of faith right in the middle of them? Something to think about.
If you were inspired by this video, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Be Thankful. Feel free to share this video as well. Thank you and God bless.